that doesn't include the bigger boys realizing and adjusting themselves to us, right?
I just think it's important to have real money on when it launches. I mean, I've obviously am excited for all the opportunities that come, and I try to stay even on basically all the planes. But like, I think it's really important to remember, like, putting on. It depends on your situation, really. Like, if you know you're going to be making a fuck ton of money in the next year, like, it doesn't really matter. Probably not. But
Well,
like,
let's
if
put
you're
it this
trying,
way too, because I'm thinking about this also. Is they're going? I mean, obviously, no one knows for sure. I've seen projects, created around this. Is there going to be some sort of an on ramp to buy Pulse and Pulsex
Of
directly?
course there will be. Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to create it. There's been multiple things. The exchanges are going to have it. They're somehow going to get it. Someone will. It will happen just like it did for other things. Now, the time that it will take is not determined. It's not predetermined. It's not like it's locked, right? Now, their on-ramps is one thing. Bridging is another. Being able to supply an exchange with so much so like that, then they could allow depositing also. It's like, that's inevitable. It's going to happen. Like we have to stop maybe predicting that. What we can predict is what's happening, what's gonna happen. Well, you're gonna either have two options. It's gonna be a bridge or no bridge. So what can you do at the beginning that no one else is gonna be getting? It's like if something goes up at first, it's gonna come back down. If it goes back down at first, it's gonna come back up. So if people are active in the first 48 hours, I think, and I've been thinking about this like a madman. How can I help those who really need it, and how can I help myself? The best option is to lock in that t-shirt price. It's literally the best, even pre-fork, because it's like once you have it, it's locked. And I would suggest to lock in your long-term stakes, because the long-term stakes on PRC is where it's going to be. There's going to be like 50. It's going to, the highest, the t-share payout will be much higher on PR, and on my opinion, in Pulse Chain than it will be on Ethereum.
So
Yeah,
recommended.
because of shorter
Now,
stakes.
I
But
know
not just because of the
I might be
shorter
treading
stakes.
in a
It's
different
gonna
kind of
we're gonna be
territory here.
burning T-shares at a much faster rate, and it's gonna be harder to recreate those T-shares. That's the way the system works. Because when you like
Right.
it, we saw it with all three of the forks, man. Like I can't stress this enough. We were on stream on RG3. Go check it out. Me and RG3 on DeFi Syndicate. We saw the T-share price, and like 5 minutes later, it went up because people started unstaking. They do this, they do that. People play with it. The shit is gonna go bonkers, and you locking it in at that T-share price will be more beneficial because the other coins, whether there's a bridge or not, are gonna be purchasable with the other assets that you have. Now, what I'm telling you, okay, and I'm telling you this is for sure, is that you can't go wrong to get something that you could get more of in order to get whatever you want after. Also, there's another way, which I don't really feel like giving out the alpha, but like you could probably purchase in the first 48 hours a lot of cool things because gas price will be so fucking cheap that all that money you're saving, you could put it in to going and like doing a strategy where you're locking in T-shares. You're locking in these T-shares at a discounted price. And that is a fucking deal. It is a fucking deal. So like to me, it's like, yo, man, I think T-shares is the best option. The Pulse X and Pulse will still be there, whether you buy a ETH at 15 cents or 25 cents at the beginning. I don't think it really would have made a difference. If you bought ETH at $1 or 15 cents, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference.
I just want to ask you a question. If you knew Pulse Chain was opening up, let's say next Friday, but you had the opportunity to buy Hex the day before with your, let's just say you have dry powder for 1 cent per Hex, what would you do?
I'm buying Hex for sure.
That's
Hex,
a simple
baby.
question. Would you buy the Hex and not even think about it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so now think of it this way. Let's just say that, now this isn't the way it's probably not going to go, but I'm just going to say the most popular thing that people talk about over last year. Everybody's going to sell Hex or Pulse Chain, right? So what's that mean? It means that if that happens, Hex's price versus Pulse Chain and other things is going to go down, right? Its ratio is going to go down versus other things. If that's the case, if you own, say, something like icosa or hedron, they don't follow Hex traditionally as fast, right? So let's just say I'm sitting there and I've got hedron and icosa, and everybody's doing that. I'm going to realize that I used to be able to get 1 Hex for, say, 20 icosa, but all of a sudden I can get 50 Hex for 20 icosa. Do you think it'd be profitable to trade my icosa for hex? Because what's hex going to do in about a day? It's going to go up, right? And if it does that, now I've increased my value in my token, and which will increase my purchase power versus Pulse or Pulsex, right? Because Pulse and Pulsex is going to go wild. It's going to go back and forth. So another strategy you can do, like Famous was just saying, is not focus on the thing that everybody's going to be focused on, but focus on the things that actually give you opportunity to increase your purchase power. So it's not, nobody knows what's going to happen, but the smart people aren't going to be focusing on Pulse and Pulsex. They'll maybe focus on like them when they actually do it, their little dips, but they're going to be focusing on the other things that like hex. Because believe it or not, everybody here is here because of hex. They want more hex. Everybody here wants more hex. Well, what if the opportunity presents itself where you're actually able to get hex for 2 cents again? But you won't know that because it's ratio trading. But you will know what your value of hex or icosa and hedron are ratio-wise versus hex at the fork, right? So just you need to be a little bit more open-minded when you think about this stuff. Don't focus on what everybody's kind of like making you focus on, because you're going to lose opportunity. If you're sitting here trying to find the right strategy, you're going to lose out on it because it's not going to be a strategy that works for longer than 5 minutes, right? And if that's the case, that means you got to be able to be there when Pulsechain launches. And who knows, it might launch at 2 a.m. your time. You might be asleep and it might already be open, running for 8 hours, right? So you need to have other strategies in place. You got to be able to know how to not be so emotional and feel like you're losing, because remember, there's opportunity and volatility in the first 48 hours. That means that there's a lot of profit that can be made, but there's a lot more loss that tends to happen too. And so I don't know how funny this is, but everybody continues to say, I'm going to sit on my hands, and except for a couple of people are like, well, I'm going to be very specific on what I'm going to be doing. It's only going to be a small percentage of my bag that I'm going to be using, and so on and so forth, right? And so I don't know about you, but when I hear the smartest people in my ecosystem saying that, it's probably a hint, right? It means that they're not going to get caught up in the hype. They're not going to get caught up in the emotions. They're going to be like, I got my strategy. It's if this reaches a certain point down low, I'm going to do what I can to buy it, So it's not really a good answer, but it's just more of the fact that, if you're asking for these strategies, nobody can give you an exact strategy, because not even the best people know what's going to happen, but they have about 20 strategies and they have 20 things that they're looking for. And if they see it, they might act on it. Right. So that's the kind of mindset maybe you should start thinking about, that's a strategy on itself as well. So
no, that's a great answer, man. I definitely, I just kind of wanted to ask that just to get everybody's opinions on what, what everybody was going to do at the fork. I have heard a lot of just, when Pulsechain launches, to not do shit. I'm specifically going to keep myself out of that 24 to 48 hour window, just to kind of see where shit happens.
Oh yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think hex, hedron, and icosa will be the ultimate plays on the other chain, no doubt about it. And yes, you do want to get the T-shares as soon as you can, because yeah, they will ramp up. I think like a third more, and like on the east side, easy, like within a month. It's just gonna go hyperbolic. But I also feel that it's gonna be some people that's gonna dump all their hex, to get Pulsechain or Pulsex, which is going to be a hell of a opportunity for anyone to actually scoop up hex on that other chain and make stakes for very cheap. You make rolling stakes. Not only that, with the hedron icosa, with the HSIs, that's going to be on that side too. It's going to be fucking parabolic. It really is. It's going to be a great fucking opportunity. So I see, man. So another thing I also wanted to state was V4. I think what the main reason for V4 coming out, I think, is because Pulsex, trying to get the fine tuningness of Pulsex down, especially like with the bridge liquidity, try to hook up with ETH.
The reason for V4 is the adjustment in inflation for the validator set.
That's the main reason.
That's the reason.
Well, so the validators could get more rewards for the transactions.
The inflation. So right now on V3, the inflation was never adjusted. The rewards for being a validator were never adjusted to reflect the 1 million to 1.2 million adjustment in Pulse to Ethereum, which needed to be adjusted. So because the validators were being underfunded, under incentivized to exist on the chain, which is a bad thing because you need there to be, a lot of validators. So Now with V4 launching, that is being fixed. There's also some, like there's some other issues, right? There's a lot of stuff being fixed, but most of those reasons wouldn't need a new network. The inflation does though. It would require a hard fork. We got me and Hex Hangout were talking a little while ago about the reason why there would need to be a new network, and technically you could do it through a hard fork, but then that takes weeks of planning, and then you gotta write the code. It's gotta be finalized, and then you gotta set that date out like by a block height, a few weeks in advance, and then then you're waiting for the block height to show up, and then all of the clients are on the same page, and then doesn't stall out and collapse. So instead of doing that, then you are just do it before and much faster.
Sounds like a plan then. At the meantime, accumulate.
It's literally what Richard said in the tweet.
You guys, I don't know about you guys, a year and a half now, for the pulse chain, like, the bear market and everything. But the fact that we've had influencers, Matt Alley's in here, we got Famous, all our influencers, they've been active all the way through this. We've had people like Gamma, educating us on validators. We've had so many projects that have come to fruition to give us something to keep active through this bear market, and while we wait for Pulse Chain to come out. And I just am so thankful for all these guys, giving us something to go, to look forward to every week, whether it's their streams, this space, their projects. We got projects being opened on Ethereum now that are going to be on Pulse Chain even, and it's given us all these opportunities, but mainly it's given us a chance to actually be here and stay interested in the bear market. And I don't know about you guys, but it's really hard to do. As you can see in the rest of the communities, there's nobody. It's like a ghost town, right? You're only seeing, a small fraction of everybody. But because of these people that you're listening to, and the people that, influencers, the YouTubers, the people on, Twitter Spaces, Twitter, got the projects, the new projects, we've got contracts, all these things, the highest of stakes, right? Not only that, the politics stuff, side of it, the legal side of it. They're giving us all this stuff to keep us interested. And it's really hard to DCA when you just check out, right? But because of all these people, all these guys that just are showing so much love and support for all of us, all you guys and all of us are reaping the benefits of it. And you guys may not understand this, but if these guys weren't here and we didn't have all these influencers, I'm just going to say all these people as influencers, you guys probably wouldn't be here right now, and you wouldn't be DCAing, and you wouldn't be notified of all these opportunities of Pulse Chain, of sacrifices, of launch dates, of airdrops, that you wouldn't be seeing any of this. You wouldn't be benefiting from any of it. I just want to show the gratitude that these people deserve.
Yeah, you're right, man. We are in an extraordinary position.